Hey everyone, today we're going to talk about something very important, uh, testing audiences for contractors. So let's dive right in. The first question that we're going to go over is how many audiences should we test at once? And by the way, this is for cold audiences, not retargeting or lookalikes. This is like new audiences if you have a new account or you want to test out new interests. So generally, it's advised to test 3 at once. That way you have enough variety to really see the differences as you're testing them at the same time. Rather than just testing one, obviously you have nothing to compare it to. When you have 2, if one performs better, it could just be a coincidence. But when you have 3, it adds quite a lot more variety already. So you can see, oh, it's already performing better than the other 2. It's a stronger indication of its actual strength. So going into here, we have 3 audiences. What are 3 example audiences that we can use to get, jobs for whatever home improvement service you might provide? First one, the most basic one that's been gaining popularity is a broad audience, which works pretty well for this niche. Because you're not an e-commerce store that's selling like dog toys or anything. You're selling services that everybody needs. So broad targeting can work really well. It works better once you've already done some testing with interest-based audiences and you've gathered some data on your account. And that way the algorithm can really go by itself to find the best ones based on previous results. But if you want to start with broad testing, you can as well if you're doing that simultaneously with other interest-based audiences. Another audience you can do would be, of course, like any home improvement basic interests. And third one as well, when you're doing the interest-based, you really want to make sure you're choosing very similar ones. If you're doing more than one in one audience, as in, let's just go into here. If you're using home improvement, and with home improvement, you got to remember there was that TV show as well. So it's not pulling anything up. It might be slow. But let's just do interior design. Just as an example. And we can see here it's a very broad term. We want to make sure we use some more specific terms as well, but I have a different video in terms of actual choosing this kind of targeting as well, right? So make sure you choose similar terms if you're going to use more than one in an audience to make sure you really have an understanding of which interest set work better. Okay, so that was just about how many audiences to test and examples of what you can do in each one. Now, how much should you spend per audience per day? The advised minimum to spend per day to get, actual testing results would be $10 a day per audience. So this would mean 30 bucks a day. If you don't have that kind of budget, you can test one audience at a time and really just change them I'd say every 5 to 7 days, change them, because this gives me enough time to properly test and get results. To see the differences. This is, of course, a lot slower, but if you have the time and a lower budget, you can attempt it this way. But generally, seeing them at the same time is the best because they're under the same circumstances, the same days. So that would work the best. If you can do 2, that's also better than 1, of course. But the optimal amount would be at least 3 audiences, minimum $10 a day. If you can do more, you can do more. But this is speaking for testing, not for scaling or anything like that. Okay, and that's kind of like the basic formula for testing audiences. If you have any questions, let me know.